century, Germany's leaders have faced an awesome array of crises, from the Berlin blockade in 1948 to the construction of the Berlin Wall in 1961, to the debilitating effects of the Cold War, to a divided country and the challenge of unification in 1989 and 1990. The Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Dr. Helmut Kohl, represents the finest of that post-war generation of remarkable leaders. Untiring energy in rebuilding his country, a clear grasp of the needs and aspirations of his people, and determination, indeed courage, in holding unremittingly to democratic values for a united Germany when the road to that destination was by no means clear or assured. Now, these qualities never shone more brightly than in Chancellor Kohl's stunning success in effecting and with unexpected speed the unification of East and West Germany. Despite 4 decades of division, despite the problems, the risks, and the uncertainties, Chancellor Kohl demonstrated the highest qualities of informed and enlightened statesmanship in helping guide his country to a peaceful unification. And perhaps most impressive, in light of the values these lectures are intended to foster, has been his long-standing insistence that a united Germany only makes sense as part of a united Europe, committed to democracy and freedom, and as a full and supportive member of the international community. We are honored that he has accepted our invitation to deliver the 1991 Tyner Lecture on Human Values. Mr. Chancellor, the University of California welcomes you most warmly.
President Gardner, Chancellor Tien, ladies and gentlemen, and I should also mention dear students. I would like to thank all of you for this very warm welcome that you accorded to me, and for the very great honor to be able to deliver the Tanner Lecture here today before you. 31 years ago, the University of California honored one of my predecessors, Konrad Adenauer, the first Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany. Never before in history, Konrad Adenauer said then, during his visit, had a victorious nation helped the defeated to such an extent as the American people had aided the Germans. At that time, our country was still divided, and an end to this division was not in sight. Today, I am here as the first head of government in order to thank you for everything that the American nation has done for the good of Germany. For decades, the American people have defended freedom in Europe. Germany owes the recovery of its unity in freedom not least to the untiring commitment of America and its presidents for more than 4 decades, from Harry S. Truman to George Bush.
Dank Deutschland die Wiedervereinigung. Es gibt Stationen, die wir nicht vergessen.
And there are certain incidents in our history that we will never forget.
Der Marshallplan.
The Marshall Plan.
Die Hilfe aus dem Nichts.
The help that came to us when we were despairing.
Die Berliner Blockade.
The Berlin blockade.
Der Bau der Mauer.
The construction of the wall.
Und die vielen Hunderttausende amerikanischer Soldaten, die auch unsere
And
Freiheit
the many hundreds of thousands
verteidigt
of
haben.
American soldiers who also defended our freedom.
Ronald Reagan
Former President
hat die
Ronald
historische
Reagan
Chance zur deutschen
rightly
Einheit früh
assessed
eingeschätzt.
the historic opportunity for German unity at a very early stage
Und war es, der im Juni 87
when he called out in front of Brandenburg
vor dem
Gate
Brandenburger Tor rief,
during
Herr
his visit
Gorbatschow,
to Berlin in
reißen Sie
June
diese Mauer
1987, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
in 3 Wochen,
In 3 weeks' time,
am 3.
on
Oktober
the
ist es
3rd
ein
of
Jahr,
October,
dass
the
der
dream
Traum von der
of
Freiheit
Germany's freedom
und der Einheit
and
Deutschlands
unity
Wirklichkeit werden
will
konnte.
have been reality for exactly 1 year.
Und ich danke George Bush
Stability
in jenen
in
Ländern
those
Europas,
European countries
die nach
which
Jahrzehnten der kommunistischen
after
Zwangsherrschaft
decades,
befreit sind,
liberated themselves
Und eine
from the
freiheitliche,
yoke of communist tyranny
wirtschaftliche
and want to
Gesellschaftsordnung
establish a
aufbauen
liberal
wollen.
economic and social order.
Wohl niemand im Westen
Probably nobody in the West
kennt die verheerende
is more
Hinterlassenschaft der
familiar
kommunistischen
than we,
Herrschaft. Mehr noch
even more
als der wirtschaftliche
than
Effekt
economic factors.
weiß doch dieser
It was
schöpferische
this
Funke,
creative spark
der von
that
Amerika
passed
aus
from America
mit dem
with the
Marshallplan
Marshall
vor 40
Plan
Jahren
to Europe and
nach Europa
Germany
und Deutschland
over 40
übersprang.
years ago.
Der
The
Marshallplan
Marshall Plan
war die
was
amerikanische
the
Herausforderung,
American response to an epochal
die
challenge.
großen Fragen der Zeit. Auf diesem
Today,
Beispiel können wir heute
We can
aufbauen.
build on that encouraging example.
Hier, die großen das gerade hier, die großen wissenschaftlichen Institutionen meines Landes eine
I know
besonderes
that,
Ansehen genießen.
particularly here in the United States, the scientific institutions of my country enjoy an excellent reputation.
Und Sie verstehen, dass ich meine Heimatuniversität Heidelberg
I
an
think you will
erster Stelle
understand that I would like to mention my own university, Heidelberg, here as one of them.
Und wenn Präsident George Bush von Partners in Leadership sprach,
President Bush's reference to partners in leadership
dann soll das auch für die
is
Zukunft
therefore
gelten
also valid
in Wissenschaft und Technologie.
for the future in the field of science and technology.
Und wir wollen gemeinsam an diesem Ziel arbeiten.
And let us all work together in bringing about this aim.
Einen wichtigen Schritt zur
An
wissenschaftlich-technologischen
important step
Partnerschaft
towards scientific and technological partnership
an Amerikanern,
has
Deutschen
been
und
made
Araben
by Americans and Germans
mit dem erfolgreichen
in the form
internationalen
of the
Institut für
highly
Computerwissenschaft
successful
hier in
International Institute of Computer Science. Here reminds one of the opposite coast.
So wie ich an der europäischen
Just as I
Atlantikküste
visualize
die mir
the
vertrauten Bilder
familiar
von
images
Amerika
of
und seinen
America
Städten vor
and
Augen
its
habe,
cities when standing on Europe's Atlantic coast,
so vermittelt der Blick auf den
the view
Pazifik
of the Pacific
ein Bild von der
conveys a
Anziehungskraft zwischen
picture
Kalifornien
of the forces of
und dem
attraction
ostasiatischen Raum
between
von Japan
California
bis Singapur.
and the East Asian region, from Japan to Singapore.
Wo würde dem Besucher deutlicher als hier in Kalifornien
Where else than here in California is the visitor made more aware of the interlinkage and interdependence of the world's 3 main economic and industrial
vor
centers:
Augen geführt?
North
Nordamerika,
America,
Europa
Europe,
und Asien.
and East Asia.
Meine Damen und Herren,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Deutschland als vereintes
as a
und souveränes
united
Land
and sovereign country,
ist eine größere Verantwortung
Germany has
zugewachsen.
acquired greater responsibility
In Europa
in
und
Europe
weltweit.
and worldwide.
Und wir wissen,
We know
dass wir nur
that
gemeinsam
we can live up to
mit
this
unseren
responsibility
amerikanischen
only together
und
with
europäischen
our
Freunden
American and our
dieser
European
Verantwortung
friends.
gerecht werden können. Partner in leadership,
For us Germans,
das heißt für uns Deutsche,
being partners in leadership
unseren Teil
means assuming our share of
an Verantwortung in
responsibility
der Gemeinschaft der freien Völker zu
in the
übernehmen.
family of free nations.
Wir sind
We
dazu bereit.
are willing to do so.
Wir sind bereit, den Teil der innerwestlichen Lastenteilung
In
zu
Western
übernehmen,
burden sharing, we are ready to play a part
denn wir entsprechen unserer Kraft erbringen
commensurate
können.
with our economic and political potential.
Das heißt politisch und ökonomisch. Folgende Aufgabenbereiche sind es vor allem,
German
Yes,
policy
die deutsche Politik
must prove its
bewähren
worth
muss.
above all in the following fields in the 1990s.
erstens,
First,
nachdem die staatliche Einheit der beiden
now
über
that
4
the two
Jahrzehnte
parts
getrennten
of my
Teile vollzogen
country
ist,
that were separated for over 4 decades have
müssen wir
been
jetzt-
politically united, we
müssen wir
must
jetzt auch die
also achieve
wirtschaftlichen, sozialen
economic,
und kulturelle Einheit
social
verwirklichen.
and cultural unity.
Und dies ist jetzt das eigentliche Problem der
And
Deutschen.
this indeed is the real problem for the German nation now.
Wir werden die ökonomisch-sozialen Probleme in wenigen Jahren schaffen.
I predict that we will be able to solve the economic and social problems in only a few years.
Aber 40 Jahre Teilung
But 40 years of separation
hat sich tief eingegraben in die
has
Herzen und
made a
Seelen
very
der
deep
Menschen.
impression indeed in the hearts and the souls of the people.
Wir brauchen Geduld,
We need patience.
wir brauchen Mitmenschlichkeit,
We need the
wir
human
brauchen
touch.
Verständnis.
We need compassion and we need understanding for our fellow human beings.
Zweitens,
Second,
wir wollen neben der wirtschaftlichen und politischen Einigung Europas
in Europe, we seek not only economic
als eine Voraussetzung für unsere Zukunft.
but also political union as a prerequisite for our future.
Das Europa,
Decisive prerequisites for Europe
dass es Europa und
and
Amerika
America
gelingt, in einer
succeeding
gemeinsamen
through
Anstrengung
joint efforts
die Aufgaben der
in
Zukunft zu
coping
meistern.
with the tasks of the future.
Viertens,
Fourth,
die Errichtung stabiler Demokratien
the establishment of stable democracies
und der Aufbau der sozialen
and of a
Marktwirtschaft
social market economy
in den
in
Reformstaaten
the
Mittel- und
reformist countries
Südosteuropas
of Central, Eastern and Southeastern Europe,
sowie die politische und wirtschaftliche Umgestaltung
as
der
well as
Sowjetunion
political and economic restructuring in the Soviet
und in
Union
ihren Republiken
and its constituent republics,
erfordert unsere gemeinsame
call
Unterstützung.
for active support by all of us.
Das liegt im europäischen,
This is in the interest
das
of
liegt
Europe
im amerikanischen,
and in the interest of
Das
the
liegt in
United States of
unserem gemeinsamen
America.
Interesse.
It is in our joint interest.
fünftens.
Fifth,
Wir wollen unseren Beitrag leisten
we
zu
want to
einer
contribute
Weltfriedensordnung,
towards a peaceful order worldwide,
die gegründet
founded
ist
on the
auf
rule
der
of
Herrschaft des
law,
Rechts, der Achtung der
respect for human
Menschenrechte,
rights,
das
the right
Selbstbestimmungsrecht
of
der Völker
nations to self-determination,
sowie, und das ist besonders wichtig,
and I think that this is a particularly important
gemeinsamen Willen
factor, a common
zur
commitment
Bewahrung der uns Menschen
to
anvertrauten
the
Schöpfung.
integrity of creation as entrusted to humanity.
Sechstens,
Sixth,
zu den vordringlichsten Aufgaben
one of the most prominent and
der
urgent
90er Jahre
tasks
gehört für
on the
uns
agenda
Deutsche
for the 1990s
die Überwindung des katastrophalen Erbes,
is for us Germans to eliminate the disastrous
das
legacy
über 40 Jahre
left
Kommunismus in der
by
DDR
over
hinterlassen hat.
40 years of communism in the German Democratic Republic.
Dieser Wiederaufbau
Reconstruction
ist
in the eastern Länder
in den östlichen Bundesländern ist eine
is a
Pionieraufgabe.
pioneering task.
Pionieraufgabe, weil es
Pioneering
dafür kein
task
Beispiel gibt.
because it is unprecedented in history.
Pionieraufgabe aber auch,
It is also a pioneering task
weil das Gelingen
because
dieses Werkes
its
von großer Bedeutung
success
ist,
is of great importance
weit über die
and
Grenzen
this
unseres
far
Landes.
beyond my country's borders.
Von ihm müssen Hoffnung,
It will be
Ermutigung
a source of
ausgehen
hope and encouragement
für die Ungarn,
for the Hungarians,
die Polen,
the Poles,
die
the
Tschechen,
Czechs,
die Slowaken,
and the Slovaks,
die Rumänen,
for
die
the day
Bulgaren.
Europe's economic locomotive.
Mit zahlreichen Aufbauprogrammen
It is
stellen wir in den 2,5 Jahren seit Mitte 90 bis Ende
It
1992
is estimated
100 Milliarden
that
Dollar
we
für den
make
Aufbau
available
bereit.
in the 2.5 years from the mid-1990s to the end of 1992 the equivalent of over $100 billion for reconstruction in the new Länder. Many experts believe that the economy there will pick up by the end of this year. What we now need, above all, is private investment. And I hope including from the United States. Never before have there been such attractive conditions in Germany to encourage investors from all over the world. The speed of structural hide the concerns that we have. But every day I discover that the people who have finally gained their freedom want to work. They want to use the opportunities afforded by freedom. And my message to you is, we will make it. And I am convinced, in a few years' time, the regions of the former German Democratic Republic will be flourishing indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, the momentous change that we have all been witnessing since the autumn of 1989 bears out a policy for us Germans, whose foundations were laid by Konrad Adenauer in the 1950s. Now as then, our policy is based on the conviction that German unity and European unification are two sides of the same coin. We want a free and united Germany to be part of a free and united Europe. Following German reunification, Germany is dedicating itself in a special manner and with all its strength to continuing the process of European unification. In his famous speech at Zurich in 1946, Winston Churchill already spoke of this. He said, "We want the United States of Europe, and we want that too." With that term, we Germans associate the vision of a federal Europe. En route to that goal, we will complete by the end of next year, and that is to say in less than 16 months, a large single market in Europe, encompassing 340 million people. An area without any borders, in which men, people and goods can move freely. In the next few months, the tracks will be laid for the period after 1992. Our aim, and my aim, is that the heads of state or government of the European Community and the recent events in the Soviet Union. Only in this way, and together in the united Europe, will the Europeans be able to play and assume their share of the responsibility. This responsibility, too, will increase as the community gains in size. We are making every effort so that the negotiations on association agreements of the European Community between the Community and Hungary, Poland and Czechoslovakia are completed as quickly as possible. Accession to the Community must also be open to those three countries once appropriate conditions exist there. Europe includes not just Paris, London and Berlin, but also Warsaw, Prague and Budapest, and naturally Vienna and Stockholm as well.
Meine Damen und Herren, Deutschland und die
Ladies and
Europäische
gentlemen,
Gemeinschaft
Germany and the European Community